Hey everybody, today I'm out here near Tucson and we're taking a look at the 2020 Honda CR-V Hybrid. This is going to be a short video just on one important question that I've received a ton of emails about. Why is the CR-V Hybrid a little bit lower in terms of its overall fuel economy rating than the RAV4 Hybrid? When you take a look at the numbers, you'll notice that this is 3 mpg below the RAV4 Hybrid in the highway driving cycle and 2 mpg lower than the RAV4 Hybrid when it comes to the combined EPA score. Now there are a number of different reasons for that. Obviously the aerodynamics of the CR-V are a little bit different than the RAV4 Hybrid. This overall body design is a little bit older than the current Toyota, but there are two key differences. This one has wider tires, so we find 225 width tires on all RAV4 hybrids in America. We have 235 width tires on this model right here. And tire width and overall tire size definitely has an impact on highway fuel economy. I suspect that you would get a little bit of a bump in the CR-V hybrid if you put the same size tires on this that you find in the RAV4. But the bigger difference happens under the body and under the hood, where we have a mechanical all-wheel drive system, not an electric all-wheel drive system like we find in the RAV4. So the hybrid system under here has been basically borrowed out of the Honda Accord hybrid, and then they took the all-wheel drive system from the regular CR-V and jammed it onto that hybrid system. Toyota did something very different with the RAV4 hybrid. They decided to put an electric motor in the rear, and that electric motor in the rear can never send as much power to the rear wheels as the vehicle can send to the front. And this CR-V, in theory, if the clutch was completely locked and the front wheels had absolutely zero traction, could send nearly 100% of engine or motor torque to the rear axle. It's very different than we see in the RAV4 hybrid. Now, because of the way this system works, the rear axle is always there. We have a true mechanical differential in the rear. We have that center clutch pack, etc. So we have more mechanical losses going on. Although we don't have a front-wheel drive CR-V hybrid or a front-wheel drive RAV4 hybrid in America at the moment, I suspect that if we had front-wheel drive versions of both, they would be an awful lot closer than the all-wheel drive models that we see here. The other reason, of course, is the very design of the hybrid system itself. For the CR-V hybrid, the Accord hybrid, a Clarity hybrid, etc., we have a fixed ratio between the engine and the wheels when it's in its engine drive mode, and that's the mode the vehicle will probably be defaulting to if you're out on the open highway in steady state travel. Now, if you're going 75 or 80 miles an hour, that single fixed ratio may be a little on the low side for overall optimum fuel efficiency, and that seems to be the bigger reason that we find slightly lower fuel economy out on the highway in this type of hybrid system. It's going to be very efficient at 50 to 60 miles an hour, even 65, but when you start going over 75 or even 80 miles an hour, like we do find some speed limits in America, then you are going to notice more of a drop in overall fuel efficiency. If, on the other hand, your daily commute is primarily city driving, stop-and-go driving, or slow-and-go driving, then you're not going to notice a big difference between this and the RAV4 in terms of real-world fuel economy, and in fact, in some situations, this could actually beat the RAV4 when it comes to those city-type fuel economy numbers. Bottom line, when it comes to overall fuel economy, you're likely going to be getting slightly lower fuel economy out on the open highway in the CR-V hybrid versus the RAV4 hybrid. It's not going to be a huge difference. It's probably going to be 2 to 3 miles per gallon overall. And in identical driving cycles for the average American out there, you're probably going to see a very slight drop in fuel economy, this versus the RAV4 hybrid. Personally, I think a 2 to 3 mile per gallon loss is definitely worth it in order to get the wider tires and better handling that we find in the CR-V hybrid, and of course that mechanical all-wheel drive system. If you live in an area that frequently gets snow, ice, or other inclement weather, this is definitely going to feel more sure-footed out on those surfaces than the electric all-wheel drive system that we find in the RAV4. If you want to know more about the 2020 CR-V hybrid, be sure and check out our first drive video on this model. You'll find that on our channel coming up very, very soon. There's also a complete video on how this hybrid system works and how it's different from some of the competition out there. Be sure and hit that subscribe button down there if you haven't already done so. Find us over at facebook.com/AlexNautos, and I'll see you all later.